This is KGW News at Sunrise.
We've got more gun prosecutions happening in this past year than we've ever had before.
Gun violence is an outcome of other issues.
More than 1,000 shootings in Portland with seemingly no end in sight. Community leaders came together this weekend to talk about ways to curb this epidemic.
Also this morning, after more than 18 months, Washington's eviction moratorium has expired. So we're going to talk about what that means for renters and landlords now that the possibility of late fees and evictions are back.
And we hope you had a great Halloween last night. The trick-or-treaters were out. Oh, you showed off some awesome costumes. We're going to check them out a little bit later in the show. Look at all those smiles.
Apparently, Nina is still recovering from a wild night of trick-or-treating with her 4-year-old daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Brenda is here this morning, so is Rod Hill. So let's talk about that first day of November forecast.
What do we have over the weekend? We had
sunshine.
Thank you very much.
I was going to say dryness.
What do we have right now? Somebody give me an R. Give me an A.
We have it right now?
Give me an I. Well, for some people. Give me an N. Here we are. Rain moving from south to north up across the area. This is not stormy. It's mostly a gentle rain, meaning not that bad to be out in, but it is steady from Salem starting to move up into Portland. And it looks like a good chunk of today, all the way through mid-afternoon, we'll see fairly steady raindrops coming down. Still dry up along the Columbia River at this hour, 53 degrees. But by the time the kids get out to the bus stop, I think everybody will see the gentle rain coming down. 50 degrees, 52 at noon, still pretty wet outside. And it could still be more wet than not when the kids get out of school. Notice the temperatures don't do anything today. They just hang out between about 50 and 52. Back to you.
Rob, thank you. Developing this morning, 2 people were shot in Gresham early this morning. It happened just before 1 at Northeast 202nd in Gleason. This is in the Rockwood neighborhood. Police say the 2 people were shot while sitting in a car. Officers think the suspects were in a separate vehicle. No arrests have been made. Both victims were taken to the hospital. They are expected to be okay.
Now to a tragic story in Vancouver where a 2-year-old is dead and his father has turned himself in. Police say a woman called early on Sunday and told them that her son was in danger. Her son had been picked up by his father, and that's when the father started making threats to hurt the child. Police sent out an alert to find the father, but they think that he killed the child somewhere in Gresham before actually turning himself in to Vancouver police. He did that near Northeast 57th and 4th Plain Boulevard. Police haven't released many details on this case or whether there was a history of domestic violence in the family.
This year, gun violence in Portland has reached historic highs. There have been more than 1,000 shootings so far in 2021.
Over the weekend, community leaders got together for a town hall to talk about the problem, but also to work on solutions. KGW's Christelle Kumwe breaks down that discussion for us.
Nonprofits, lawmakers, and law enforcement leaders, including Multnomah County Sheriff Mike Reist, used a virtual town hall meeting Saturday to discuss gun violence.
Unfortunately, the violence we're seeing right now is eroding away the sense of safety and security in many of our neighborhoods.
He said local agencies were coming together weekly to share information to solve cases.
We do need right now to act with a sense of urgency. As we work upstream, we've also got to intervene. We need to intervene right now.
We've got more gun prosecutions happening in this past year than we've ever had before, but we're reactive. By the time my office is involved, the shell casings are on the ground.
District Attorney Mike Schmidt emphasized an all-hands-on-deck approach needed to be more preventative rather than just reactive.
Gun violence is an outcome of other issues, right?
Lakayana Drury says other issues like houselessness and income inequality. The founder of nonprofit Word is Bond says those issues are important to discuss when talking about prevention.
Education, jobs, and housing. There is no replacement for those, and those directly tie into what we're seeing in gun violence, but gun violence is just part of it.
The focus now for law enforcement is taking illegal firearms out of the mix. For commissioners, they hope to bring more green spaces and invest in underserved areas. Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.
Well, the brother of one of the victims in last weekend's deadly shooting in Portland's Old Town talked to us about his family's loss. Dustin White's younger sister, Ashley Walker, was one of 2 people shot and killed at a Northwest Portland apartment last Sunday. White says his sister lived a joyful life and was the loving mother of 2 boys. One is 14 years old and the other is 8.
She was beautiful. She was loving. She had a passion for life. She loved music. She's really into cosplay and dressing up as like Princess Leia from Star Wars. And she loved to take her kids to like Comic-Con.
Investigators say Michael Van Domelen killed Walker and told police that he had been using meth and that he heard voices in his head that told him to shoot people. White says his sister was unfortunately in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Now to the pandemic. After a year and a half of protections for renters in Washington, the eviction moratorium expired at midnight. Soon after COVID hit the U.S., Governor Jay Inslee used emergency power to stop most evictions. But today, that all ends. That'll likely open the door for thousands of evictions in Washington. But new rules do require landlords to go through steps like offering tenants a payment plan before evicting them.
All right, tomorrow is Election Day across the United States, so let's take a quick look at some of the area ballots and measures. We're going to start in Washington. There are several statewide measures on the Washington ballot. You'll be asked if certain state taxes should be maintained or repelled for different services. Several judges are also up for election in Washington. People in Clark County, meanwhile, will be asked about proposed charter amendments. One question specifically asks voters to decide if certain county positions should become bipartisan. Depending on what town you live in, you might also be picking school board members and/or city councilors. There is no statewide election in Oregon this year. The next one is scheduled for May, but some people in Multnomah County will have some choices to make by tomorrow. Also, people living in Fairview, the Lake Oswego School District, or the Tualatin Valley Fire District also have measures and ballot choices to make by tomorrow.
A fire station in Southeast Portland is woefully and consistently understaffed. Only 2 firefighters are on duty at any given time. Now the firefighters union is asking the city to step in and help. We're talking about Fire Station 23 near Southeast Powell and Milwaukee. The union president tells us the 2 firefighters there just drive around in a vehicle similar to an ambulance, and when big fires happen, they really can't do much. That was the case just last week when this fire started near 28th and Powell.
They arrive and they have to wait for a 4-person company to be able to go inside or start an attack because there just is no water on a 2-person ambulance. And so they have to wait till one of the big rigs get there with the water.
The union president says the city needs to double staffing levels at Station 23 from 2 firefighters to 4. He's asking the city to use some of its surplus revenue to pay for this. Commissioner Joanne Hardesty tells us the Fire Bureau isn't eligible for that surplus revenue, but she says she will work with them during the regular budget process.
Well, it was a comeback year, you might say, for Halloween. We know a lot of people were out and about trick-or-treating last night.
Absolutely. This is what it looked like near downtown Vancouver. There were so many great costumes. People told us they were getting full-size candy bars, and the folks handing out those treats were also getting creative.
There's a pneumatic candy chute, I think, just down the street where he's got it hooked up to a leaf blower to shoot it into people's buckets. So that's kind of cool and interesting.
That's fantastic. We also traveled over to Northeast 117th Avenue and 119th Street, where this house was drawing crowds. Check out the decorations. There were glowing pumpkins and skeletons and all other kinds of animatronics to get trick-or-treaters in the Halloween spirit last night.
Earlier in the day, Halloween in the air at the Oregon Zoo. So they host the Halloween event every year at the zoo. Halloween. The kids in costumes there, they went on a scavenger hunt. Lots of different costumes, from Disney movie characters to Care Bears at the zoo. And the zoo was offering some special bags for those kids yesterday. All the candy, by the way, was made by companies that are committed to using deforestation-free palm oil.
Oh, the little ones are so adorable. So we also asked you guys to share your Halloween pictures, and you had a lot of fun dressing up. This is Brittany Carter, as she says, looking adorable. Ah, little deer there, super cute.
Adorable.
How about this cute little skeleton? Love him. And then Kelly shared this picture. Her kids dressed up as Thor and Link, and she says she was a tired mama trying to keep up. And it wasn't just the kids who were cute, the pets too. Gotta love this. Check out this one. A kitty Batman wishing everybody happy Halloween.
Rebecca Spiker, thank you for sending in that one. So,
Catwoman.
We have a question for you this morning. We were kind of curious, how busy was your neighborhood last night with trick-or-treating? We asked simply yes or no. Was your neighborhood busy last night for trick-or-treating? 32% say yes, but the majority so far, now this is a kind of a newish poll. It's only been open for a short while, but the majority of our viewers so far, almost 68%, saying it was not busy in their neighborhood. Now, Rod is like, he's kind of got this big smile on his face.
Look at him.
Because he told me earlier that Halloween was actually busier last year in your neighborhood than it was this year.
Double the number of kids last year in our neighborhood. We thought that was really interesting. But earlier in the show on that same story, you said parts of Vancouver, they were giving out full-size candy bars.
I thought of you.
Well, apparently word got out because we weren't. So that explains it.
We're going to other neighborhoods.
I feel so cheap. All right. Here's a look at a few more that were sent to my KGW Rod Hill Facebook page. Isn't she adorable? This is Harper, Ladybug Harper, at 14 months. Very adorable. So fun for the little ones, right? And then Liz and Adam getting into the Halloween fun out in their yard. And Jennifer sent this photo of her family. And I love that the superheroes include the dog. Great picture there. All right, here's a look at what's going on this morning. We'll show more of the Halloween pics throughout our show this morning. This is mostly a light, or what I call gentle rain, moving from south to north up across the area. So Longview still dry, and you're in the 30s this morning. You've been chilly, but the clouds are thickening and the rain is approaching. Now we've got rain moving up into a good chunk of Portland. Again, it's light stuff so far. 36 out in the Dalles, and we still have an east wind coming in, which will help kind of eat up some of the moisture. That's why I'm thinking mostly a gentle rain today. 36 also in Kelso. But Portland, the clouds have come in, held the temperature up overnight, 53. Salem is at 47. The east winds, of course, helping hold that temperature up as well. All right, so what about your Monday? Well, instead of the weekend sun that we have clouds, and we have raindrops for much of the day today. But again, nothing stormy. Temperatures will hold fairly steady in the low 50s in Corvallis, Salem, and McMinnville. Your winds southeast 5 to 15. Still some breezes near the gorge and the Columbia today at about 25 miles per hour. Longview, the rain is coming, 51. You're one of the chilly spots this morning with the clear skies still twinkling and not much of a breeze. 7-day forecast, mainly dry daytime tomorrow, then evening rain. Mainly dry daytime Wednesday, and then evening rain. And then Thursday, I can't really time anything out, but each day looks to be more wet than not. All the way into the weekend. It is November, which historically, we think of November as being the start of the big rainy season.
Whoa. Somebody did have a full-size bar of candy last night. Rodney Hill, thank you very much. More from Rod and his high level of excitement coming up in about 8 minutes here on the show. But here are some other stories that we're covering next on Sunrise. Starting with this, a local nurse helps feed hundreds of people with healthy food grown right here, grown locally. So that story's on the way. But before we get to that, we have this one, a Verify story this morning. We know the FDA has given the green light, allowing children 5 to 11 to get the Pfizer COVID vaccine. We also know it's not quite the same as the vaccine given to adults. So coming up right after this, we're going to dig into the facts about that kid-sized dose.